Welcome to the finals of the ZOTAC Cup European Edition. Today we have two amazing players squaring off in this best of 5 series, spawning here in the lower right corner of the map in the red trunks. It is EmpireKas.
And his opponent, we've seen a lot of him today. He is still wearing the blue trunks. It is the little one from Liquid.
Now, one thing I'm a little concerned about is the fact that this is Newkirk Precinct, and I gotta tell you, Ord, as much as I would love to see a 2-hour-long game, not for the first in a best of 5.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. No arguments. Best of 5s are fantastic in that they allow players to explore different strategies. Hopefully, one of them is going to go for something really bold in the first game. We actually had some people in our chat calling 11-11 for Cass. Looks like maybe he's not going to do that as he's producing his 12th SCV. So sorry, guys.
Yeah, whether you're watching the VOD or if you're live in chat right now, guys, let us know. Put comments in the description below or let us know in the chat who you think is going to win and what the score will be. Forget builds, forget everything else. Let's hear what your thoughts are. I mean, these are two titans of the European scene. This is not going to be a 3-0 series. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm in agreement. Looks like the majority, though, we have rooting for Cass. 2-1 doesn't actually win it because it's a best of 5.
It's a best of 5. Yeah, but I was going to say, TLO today has shown some really ingenuitive play. He's crushed Terrence. He's crushed Protoss left and right. He doesn't care. But this is Cass we're talking about. This is a different caliber of player than everything we've seen here today. And it's proven in the fact that he's made it to the finals.
Yeah, and he does have this rally point all the way out, so he's going to be aggressive right off the get-go, and it's going to
be a Reaper.
Reaper in a moment.
Gas. One more SCV, bam, Reaper. There we go. So anyways, TLO is not someone who's got caught off guard by Reapers by any means today. Cass is going to be able to use this as a great scouting mechanism, but I feel if he goes in and gets greedy for the drones, he's going to lose that scout very early on. Now, of course, Cass also, you got to remember, this is a large map where you can take a huge advantage of the fact that there's watchtowers and a very limited path. Zerg players will often swarm you from multiple angles, get in behind, or catch you off guard on most maps. But this is a map where if you've got control of the watchtowers, I've even seen players go as far as put planetaries actually between the two roads, just to make sure that they know exactly what's going on in the map.
That really gives you a lot of power, because even if those planetaries get taken down, it gives you enough time to react and basically do whatever else you want, because you know where your opponent's army is in that moment. You can drop while simultaneously protecting, and that's why a lot of times on this map we see that go to the late game scenario. Reapers.
One thing I'm truly interested about, I would like to see, like, I would expect if anybody was going to do it, it would be Cass that goes back to the Hellion Reaper opening, or sorry, not Hellion Reaper, but Hellion Banshee opening in this classic matchup. It's still a very strong opening, but a lot of players try and capitalize the use on Widow Mines because detection is hard to get out. You'll see a lot of other new units integrated into it, but I still feel, you know, old strategies like Blue Flame Hellion, Hellion Banshee, I mean, these are some of the best openers you can pull against a Zerg player.
I tend to agree. Really, with the advent of Heart of the Swarm, as TLO has shown us, there's so much more that can be done, and Cass, with his superior control here, is making these Reapers far more effective than we've seen any other so far, to be honest.
Well, he's slaughtered the 4 Magic Lings of TLO.
That's what I was about to actually say, the Magic Lings of TLO. That is going to be the name of that VOD. Still on 2 bases, though, is TLO, and we're past the 6-minute mark again.
Well,
so that's a bit interesting. He's got the Roach Warren on the way as well.
You can't really take that fast third, though, against a Terran player. It's not the same mechanically as Protoss, but, oh, these Queen's going to snipe off one of the Reapers. No, actually, what? Just barely not getting a 4 health remaining. And TLO is going to get completely scouted. Did he see the Roach Warren, though? That's kind of a big deal. No, he did not. Oh, Cass needs to get back in there and see that Roach Horde, because if he starts pumping Hellions like mad, he's not going to have a good time dealing with the Roaches.
He's still going with the Hellions. He's got the Tech Lab coming up on the racks as well.
Well, actually, Cass is going to be going for a bio follow-up to this, so this would not be too bad, but he's got to get that production down quickly because, again, 6 Roaches, 4 Hellions, I think it's pretty obvious who wins that fight.
Definitely. The Reaper, one of them at least managing barely to just escape there, but yeah, did not scout out that the Roach Warren was there.
Well, coming across with the Hellions, they are revealed under the Overlords. But I mean, what can they really do? Hellions and Banshees, or sorry, Hellions and Reapers are not a bad combo because, of course, ooh, never mind, the Reaper gets picked up. I was gonna say Combat Drugs allows you to heal and tank a couple hits for these Hellions, but Roaches have now been revealed. We see Widowmines immediately produce. Same with Marauders. Bunkers coming down right away. Cass with a beautiful response to that scout.
And he's gonna keep these Hellions out just in front of the Roaches the whole time too.
Yeah, the thing about Hellions is while they don't do a lot of damage to Roaches directly, they are still splash damage units. So if you've got enough of them in the right angle, they can be quite effective.
Yeah, and they're also going to force TLO to be honest and keep some sort of defense ready in case the Hellions decide to go for a run by. But yeah, they're up on the high ground now, and the Roaches are arriving just
that bunker completes just in time, but he's got to repair it. If this bunker goes down, he's going to be in a whole lot of trouble.
Oh, the Widow Mine does finish off just one of the Roaches there.
Defensively, this is a beautiful position from Cass. I mean, the Hellions are here to snipe most of the Zerglings as they come up the ramp, but the Banelings, 9 of them morphing in, will demolish this bunker, and without the bunker alive, Cass cannot stand to these Roaches.
They're going to arrive literally seconds before Stimpack finishes up. He's only got about 20 seconds left, so as long as EmpireKas can protect this secondary ramp, he might be able to survive here. But he's behind by 20 supply. Roaches have already made it up into the main. It's going to require some SCVs getting involved. Here they come. They are pulled. Widowmine does a lot of damage up in the main, and actually down the expansion, TLO didn't leave anything there attacking, so those SCVs have been mining just fine.
One thing to point out here too, and I want to point this out, this was a really intelligent move strategically from TLO. He purposely moved his Overlord in to soak one of those Widowmine hits before the Banelings connected to anything. That's why we saw such a large amount of both Banelings and Zerglings flood in past that broken bunker. But Cass at this point, he's struggling to hold on. He should be able to clean this up, but at the loss of already so many SCVs.
There's still Roaches in the main there. That third command center really making it so hard for Cass to do anything here. He's going to run up into the main with his SCVs, but blocks himself.
Oh no, and the Supply Depot does not get raised up a second time. Widowmines, of course, do not one-shot Roaches, which is what's making this so painstakingly hard to watch. And yeah, I mean, TLO continuing to just flood the rally of Roaches across the field. And I think Game 1 is going to go to TLO. I mean, even if Cass recovers from this, the damage has been done at this point, Ord. 11 workers to 45, 3 base to barely 2.
Yeah, and the lair on the way, Evo Chambers now, and some Zerglings, and there's still more units attacking down at the expansion. Doesn't look like TLO is going to let this command center survive. Cass needs to lift this. He really needs to hold on to the small advantage that he will have with these mules from the 3 command center, the 3 orbital commands, rather.
I don't know that it matters at this point, Ord. He's lost so many workers. He has no production to back this up. We're relying purely on Widowmines, and alone, these Widowmines are just not enough, as we've seen.
But nice little cleanup there by Cass before that Overlord creep spread can prevent this orbital from landing back on the ground. I mean, right now, as we look at the income, we do see that Cass is just slightly behind with a couple of mules landed. He'll be back on top in that regard, but TLO...
Nidus worm.
Nidus.
So, yep. Alright, I did... Actually, what? He's Nidusing back at home as well. At the 3rd. He's got it queued for some reason. What?
Yeah. Just to scare Cass, maybe? Or just so he moves back and forth quickly?
Make the sound happen a bunch, I guess. I don't know. Cass thinking that the Nidus came down in the main, falling victim to the same problem that Phalo did, not quite knowing where it came down, hearing that second Nidus swarm gotta cause some panic in him.
Widow Mines, just barely do manage to burrow themselves before the Roaches are able to pick them off. But once this Nidus Worm starts to unload, the Overseer Cocoon is going to follow up, and a couple of Zerglings coming in here one at a time. That should spell the end for Cas, but TLO actually only
suffering some losses,
ahead.
but by putting this Nidus Worm down at third, he could retreat back into it, but choosing not to, just sacrificing the third base for the time being. Cas, though, with these Widow Mines, going to try and hold on, putting some bunkers, putting some supply depots down, but trying to get himself back into this game any way he can. Ord.
He's clawing his way back in. He's got the combat shield that's about to finish up with this drop. That could be fantastic timing against these minimal Roaches that TLO has left back home. Yeah, they have to pick up and get out, though.
This back and forth between the main and the third is actually working out very nicely for Cas. Sniping off not too many workers, but enough to start putting some damage and hurt on TLO. We see the advance here, trying to bait these units into the Widow Mines. Nicely done by Cas, knowing that TLO is busy elsewhere.
Very pretty. TLO now finally being able to stabilize on that third base, is starting to sort out those drones as the medevac returns home with half of its original cargo. 4 of the Marines still alive, the other 4 lost forever. But we do have concussive shells on the way. Level 2 started almost right away for Cas, who knows that it's important to make every last unit that he's got out there as effective as possible.
I have to say, like, how many players would have GG'd out a long time ago at this point? I mean, Cas still in this, picking up not only a ton of medevacs, or sorry, Marines, but also some Widow Mines of these medevacs. Looking to go full offensive into the main of TLO.
And this is an awesome decision right now, honestly. TLO is spread all over the place as he's trying to take that fourth base. Doesn't really necessarily have an army.
And contaminating the engineering bay with 2 Overseers non-stop will delay this +2 weapons for, well, what's going to feel like ever. But actually not going for the main. I like that choice, going for the third instead. Going to gut as much as it can. Widow Mine's going down defensively. And so much friendly fire damage.
Yeah.
That was a lot more like Terran on Terran action than it was anything else.
That was unfortunate. But now Cas has taken advantage of the opportunity to clean up. The Nidus Worm at the front is controlling the Xel'Naga in the middle here, and just like you were saying, Riff, a lot of other players would have GG'd, and a lot of times we would have assumed that he was supposed to GG, but Cas, yeah, I don't know. He's that kind of player where you're gonna feel
he's
like
another
he's got
level,
the
man.
chance. Yeah.
Look at another Nidus coming down in another very bold location. Some Overseers coming to the main, probably gonna stop that engineering bay once more. That is so annoying, Ord, how long it's gonna take for him to finish that +2.
Oh, and another Nidus Worm opens up with the Queen and some Roaches coming in from behind, looking like they stim as they step onto the creep there. And there are these Widow Mines as his third base is trying to go down. That's what this whole engagement is about. Nidus Worm gets loaded back up. I do like the choice out of TLO. He wasn't going to win that fight overall, so he gets out of there. But 3 Overseers are preventing this engineering bay from doing anything.
Yeah, he will, if done correctly, he will literally never finish his +2 weapon upgrades, which is such a big deal because Cas is about to kick in with his.
And Cas controlling the center of the map now, somehow.
Yeah, this is a strange situation. There we go, finally cleaning up the Overseers. Kind of realized, like, I need these +2 weapons so desperately badly. But yeah, I'm a little curious what TLO's plans are from this point, because we saw him go for, you know, the fast hive. He's got some Vipers on the way, but really, the only thing the Vipers are going to effectively do is blinding cloud a couple of the Marines, but you stim right out of that.
He's got some Overlords here rallied together towards the north. I kind of think he might end up doing a Nidus Worm so he can load those up and do a drop with them. I'm not sure. It's just the way that they were controlled to the north together like that lends to that possibility. EmpireKas is now pushing forward onto the creep here.
And he's got so many Widow Mines, but man, Ord, last time he used the Widow Mines, they really backfired and hard. However, I don't believe there are any Overseers anywhere close by, so these Widow Mines are actually incredibly dangerous for our Zerg player. TLO now trying to get this blinding cloud energy saved up. He's going to have to push back just a little bit here.
Oh, Viper actually wandering forward and disappearing there over the
I
Marines.
like the choice, Cas. I love his choice to focus on that hatchery too. He knows economically he's behind this whole game, And oh my god, Widow Mine's left, right, pop, pop, but Hydralisk's just gonna keep moving forward.
TLO showing us that he was once Terran and knows how to split his units.
And it's funny too, for those who don't know, Widow Mines actually have more health than Hydralisk's, so it's really sad watching that type of engagement happen.
Cass now behind by 50 supply for the second time.
But he's been behind this whole game, Lord, and he's been fighting and clawing his way back into this. So
exactly, but this is the second time he's been behind by that specific amount of supply, and he was TLO was supply blocked there for a bit. But Cass really is going to have to control with the Widow Mines, control the area where TLO's coming in. But now because he's taking this third base, there's a great
yeah, I mean, the thing is, when the units are split like this, the Overseers could have been picked off, allowing the Widow Mines to be that much more effective, but the Engage just going to go down, and Cass, I don't think he's got the units to deal with this. Hydralisks aren't exactly susceptible to most general fire, but Widow Mines going off left and right, popping all over the place. None of these Overseers, one finally going down, but I don't know.
These Hydralisks, though, are heavily damaged with the pulling of the SCVs. It looks like Cass may be able to push back yet another attack.
And this is insane that he is holding on like this, and it's not even like he's barely holding on and why hasn't he left yet, but he's actually putting up a really good fight. As we look, your TLO is almost out of Hydralisks. But of course it is the reinforcements of that Remax that will be the big question and the damage dealer, but for the time being, TLO is actually being driven back, and it's so weird to say that because he's been so far ahead all game. Cass, again, viciously staying in this.
Yeah, I think actually some of this has to come down to the fact that there are 82 drones on the field. Oh, as the orbital does go down, that's a big deal. But there's been some larva injects that have been missed by TLO, so he's not able to reinforce as fast as he might want to. But finally, Cass is dwindling in the face of the superior numbers.
It was the loss of those Widow Mines. Like, we look at the resources lost, Cass actually kept it very even towards the end there, keeping a calm head and using the Widow Mines to their maximum effectiveness, but in the end, just a little overrun. Game 1 going to TLO.